And we're live, everybody. Working Fans Podcast. It's me and AJ. Episode 136, I think, of the audio show. Woo! Putting in that work, guys. We're going to talk a little AEW today and our top 5 of the week. But before we do, here's an intro video. Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
All right, everybody, let's put that work in.
I'll tell you what, Joe's doing a great job of hosting that Wednesday night show. Guys, if you don't get a chance to check that out.
It's on fire every week. Check it out. All right, man. So we got the new format. We've been doing little AEW reviews on here because it's kind of our favorite show of the week. And typically,
I mean, NXT really came home this week, but, screw them.
I'm trying to remember. I didn't have a bad NXT experience this week.
No, it was good. They had a good match. Pete Dunne absolutely was on fire versus Carmelo Hayes. We can do that real fast. That was a great match. Obviously, you had Ciampa and Baby Steiner versus
Dirty Dogs.
The Dirty Dogs, yeah.
Which I love that Ciampa and Breaker came out into Steiner gear.
Yeah.
That's what made that for me.
Although I would have liked it if Braun had come out dressed like Ciampa.
Yeah, or like Gargano.
Or like Gargano, that would have been great.
Yeah. He could have come up to that song too with the hearts or whatever. It's like bum, bum, ba-na-na.
Yeah, really the only low light on it was NXT demonstrating that they had a female that was more green than Jade Cargill. So congratulations to them on winning that race.
Talking about Lash Legend, I think that's her name.
Yes, she gave Amari Miller a concussion.
Yeah. Anyway, they should. I mean, it's tough. It's a little early to be on TV, probably for those girls. But
no, well, she's got a similar thing to Jade Cargill, where she's extremely athletic, but just not ready for TV yet.
No, but Cargill's actually had some people work with her and stuff where she can actually, generally, probably not injure somebody. It might be a little clunky. Yeah.
But Cargill needs to continue also to work with veterans. If she continues to work with veterans, she's just going to get better, and that'll improve her. Right. Some of the problem with her right now is they keep putting her in there with other people that are also green, and that exposes her.
Yes. Not to a point where it's been dangerous yet, but yeah, it's been definitely.
Yeah, I believe her and Ty Conte is going to be one hell of an ugly match.
We'll talk a little bit about
which is a shame because they're both beautiful women. So to see it ugly from them is not good.
Let's talk some AEW. Let's get right to it. Dynamite. Tony Khan's big announcement. That's what kicked off the show. He bought Ring of Honor. I guess you said on your TikTok video review on the Working Fans Podcast TikTok.
Although I did not break the news. Producer Joe broke the news.
Yeah, he was on it. He was home. So
yeah, he broke it.
But I was gonna say, we don't know what this means yet. There's some exciting stuff, though.
We know what it means from the library point. We know that. We know he bought the library. He owns the rights to the name. He's got all that. We know that. We don't know what he's going to do with that.
I was thinking about this, and a lot of people have been saying, typically they won't just use a touring company like this because it makes no sense since the AEW brand. Why not just use the AEW brand name? But I would think, why make this big announcement just over the library?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, where I agree with you, where we're struggling is the talent. We don't know who they still technically have under contract.
Right.
We don't know if any of those guys that have been in Impact are still under contract. We don't know.
PCO's not. I know he signed with Impact.
Yeah, we know PCO signed a separate contract, but a lot of those guys, they didn't announce that they signed separate contracts.
Right.
So from what I heard, and this is what I heard, was that they were allowed to wrestle under their contracts until Ring of Honor put something back together. Now they didn't put something back together, but they've been bought.
Mm-hmm. And some are booked for Supercard of Honor. We got Gresham versus Bandito. And Deonna Purrazzo, who works for Impact, is the women's champion.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd be interested to see.
Well, they had to, at that point, take the belt off Roxy because there was talk about Roxy signing with NXT and WWE, but that didn't end up happening. And now Tony Khan purchased Ring of Honor, so who knows if she's even going to end up signing with WWE.
Right. Yeah. And one of my friends texted me this morning that he heard a rumor somewhere online. I didn't see it, but that talks with Cody Rhodes and WWE might have fallen through, which is interesting.
Well, if anything, to be honest with you, what this has led to and the excitement of this is, unlike when WCW was bought by Vince, nothing was really up in the air. We had a feeling Vince was just going to bury WCW. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan, we don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know what his plans are, if it's just going to be the library, if he's going to bring the wrestlers in. Jonathan Gresham was backstage at Bridgeport. You're not bringing the guy in there for no reason to talk to him.
Well, I guess that's what I mean. So I'm not saying we know what he's going to do, but do you think in his mind he's got a bigger plan than just the library?
Absolutely. Knowing Tony Khan the way that we do, because, we know Tony.
I'm up every day.
Absolutely. Knowing him the way that we do and what we've seen from him so far, he doesn't seem like the type of person who does anything without a plan.
Yeah.
Have you seen him do anything where he doesn't seem to actually have a plan?
No, everything seems to be. The guy seems to have his shit together, despite some of his critics online. I think he usually comes through with everything he does. I think maybe some people get a little tired of these big announcements, because I think I was listening.
Considering they dipped in the ratings, maybe they do.
Oh, okay, so maybe nobody really was that excited about this announcement then.
Yeah, that's I can give you the exact numbers.
Yeah.
They dropped down under 1 million. They were at 966,000,
which was more.
They lost about 50,000 viewers.
Yeah, so they're hovering around that mark. There's a lot of news coverage and stuff going on right now too. But I would, but yeah, nothing. Right. Nobody was like hooked into that, and I think
nobody was clamoring for it.
Right, because he's made.
Well, he also had announced he was honest before the announcement. He was honest. He told people this is not about an individual wrestler. This is not about per se a wrestler coming in. This big announcement is big in general. And hey, what's up, Working Fans Podcast?
Yeah, Working Fans in the house.
Always nice to hear from ourselves.
Yeah, let us know what's up. Hey, I think it's just one of those things. I was listening, I think, on one of Conrad's podcasts, and he was talking about when Christian came out. He's like, I love Christian. It was great. But he said, whatever event that was, he was at the event, and he said he's watching it, and he hears two fans in the back that are talking, who's going to show up tonight? It's got to be Brock Lesnar. And the other fan's like, no, it's got to be John Cena. And I think that's the problem, right? When you make these announcements, is that people just lose their mind and start thinking like the most crazy scenarios.
And the problem is, if you're expecting either one of those two guys and then Christian comes out, where does that leave you?
Right, yeah.
Nothing against Christian.
No, I like him better personally, but it's just not. He's not that needle mover. All right, let's get into the show. So after that, he made Bryan Danielson versus Christopher Daniels a little, tribute to Ring of Honor. Happy to see Daniels back. A little handshake at the beginning, but what I loved was the finish. Basically,
absolutely.
Danielson catches him with the triangle choke with the elbows to the head, does the pose, and then afterwards goes to shake his hand and says, but we're not in Ring of Honor anymore. We're in AEW. And
well, first of all, he didn't go to shake his hand. He went to shake his hand while he was laying on his back, where he picked his hand up off the mat. It didn't actually help him to his feet. He just took his hand.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I kind of saw that coming when
Yeah.
he was on the ground. Something else
Yeah,
we saw
typically, you
coming.
don't shake hands with somebody who's laying prone on the ground.
Doesn't seem very respectful.
No.
Something else we saw coming. The Young Bucks won the tag team battle royal. I have to say,
you didn't have
though,
to be Nostradamus to see that coming.
no, but it was good to see Top Flight back, and they made Darius all the way down to the end, and the crowd actually bought into it. They were actually thinking for a second like he might pull this off, and I'm
Absolutely.
like, I was like, I don't think.
Yeah, they had me. I was sitting there going, "Oh God, Top Flight's got it," and then I went, "Oh no, they're Top Flight."
Yeah, it was a nice comeback for those guys. See, you know what? Actually, one more thing about that match I didn't hear a lot of people talk about is the announcers kind of cover for some little mistakes too. He's very explosive, but like there were a couple times he'd turn his back when he really shouldn't have been turning his back, and they would say, "Well, he's rusty. He hasn't
His
been
timing was off.
Yeah, I caught that. So CM Punk comes out. This was probably, other than the Tony Khan announcement, I think the best segment of the show. Once
great
again,
promo.
Great promo.
MJF did a great job with his part of it.
Yes. I mean,
I once again, a little predictable. I saw the low blow coming. I pretty much knew that he was going to kick him square in the nuts.
If you weren't a cynic and you didn't believe that they were going to set you up for the whole time, then maybe you would have bought into this. I have to give it to him. Like when he started rubbing his head and everything, I'm just looking at him like, all right, that's cool the way you set this up. All right, now where is it?
I and that's how I looked at it. I was like, no, they did a great job here, and the audience was buying into it. The audience there in freaking Jacksonville was on fire for it. Yeah. However, I saw the nut shot coming. Wasn't surprised by any of it. Once again, Wardlow did not help out in it. If you noticed, he just was standing there the whole time.
Right.
So it was just Shawn Spears and MJF.
Yeah, which we'll set up some stuff a little bit later. We'll talk about. We also got Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. Yeah. Rosa and Martinez get the win.
We talked about this off camera yesterday, and we both love Thunder Rosa. We want to see Thunder Rosa get the AEW championship, and it's only a matter of time before she does win the championship. We have a little bit of a disagreement, I think, because I believe Britt Baker is going over. I don't think you're going to beat her in the middle of the ring to Thunder Rosa's finishing move and then have her lose again on the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. I find it hard to believe that they're going to just completely job her out like that.
I mean, you never know. But, yeah, I'm not I think I'm leaning towards Britt. It's just a little more undecided on my mind because also this Ring of Honor news, too, and Deonna Purrazzo needing an opponent makes it interesting.
Well, we talked about this, and you saw Thunder Rosa as the AEW champion wrestling against Purrazzo. I see a better chance of Thunder Rosa being under contract with AEW without the championship, getting the Ring of Honor championship, and then her and Britt Baker going back at it. That's with her as the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah, I mean that's another possibility. Also, but then again, I'll throw another one. Rosa wins both titles, and then this heel Britt Baker comes out and ends up challenging for both belts, and then finds a way to rip her off and steal both belts from her. And
I mean, it could definitely happen. Like I said, the only thing that makes it unplausible for me is the fact that she literally lost clean in the ring to Thunder Rosa's finishing move.
Yeah, and I've heard another podcast, I think it was Post Wrestling, they were talking about that too, where a lot of logic, people would say the WWE logic is WWE's trained us for that almost. Like when somebody loses or, we know they're probably going to win. And it's probably not always the case, but it definitely does.
And I don't think that just because somebody loses that they're going to win. When you beat somebody clean in the middle of the ring with your finisher before the pay-per-view with literally no other thing but the finisher, I find it hard to believe that the person's going to lose at the pay-per-view.
Unless they're leaving town or something, which I don't think is happening.
Yeah, that's because you want to be able to keep both people strong. If you lose both matches, there's no way to keep your actual strength there.
Now, next match we had was Wardlow versus Cesaro Bononi. And I remember you texted me and you said, man, I don't like the way they jobbed out Bononi. He's one of my guys. And you said that there's big talent in Cesaro Bononi and people are missing the boat on him. He's bilingual. He's got the look. I was like, all right, what about this Wardlow guy? Like, he's not bad, but they shouldn't have jobbed. I think that's what. Maybe that was someone else. I don't know.
I think I said he's a big Italian, Cesar Bononi. But I think this match was perfectly done.
Actually
quick,
Brazilian, but anyway. Anyway.
Whatever, close enough.
Wardlow gets the win, power bombs this guy into oblivion. But the important thing was after the match, Shawn Spears goes to hit him with the chair like he's been doing all on AEW Dark, and we've seen maybe a couple other times on Dynamite, but mostly it's on AEW. He goes to hit him with a chair, and this time Wardlow says no. And they have the face-to-face, and Shawn Spears realizes this guy can hand me my ass. Now I'm all set with this.
So now I'm going to tell you the highlight of this for me. When Wardlow is posing and hamming it up for the camera, if you watch behind him, Shawn Spears never takes his eyes off him and has a little smirk on his face the whole time. Shawn Spears is one of the most underrated wrestlers when it comes to the psychology of the ring. And to me, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I got no problem agreeing with that. He's a good heel. Then we have some announcements for Rampage, which is live tonight as we're taping this. It's going to be Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin versus Andrade Idolo. Yeah, working fans going to correct me on that.
All of which are involved in the match on the pay-per-view.
Who do you see a title change here?
No.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if Andrade wins and then he loses the belt to Wardlow or Keith Lee even.
I mean, it makes sense. I could see it.
Yeah.
You know what? Andrade lost pretty convincingly the last time they wrestled. You've convinced me. Yeah. I think Andrade wins tonight.
And it's a live Rampage. We can get a little buzz going in the paper.
And he doesn't even have to beat him. He can beat either one of them. So
right. Yeah, I think we can. I think we got something here.
Yeah, good job.
Ethan Page versus Christian Cage tonight, and Face of the Revolution.
We disagreed on this one. I think Ethan Page is going over.
Yeah, I think Cage is going over. You think Page? Keith Lee's in action. Whenever they say in action, I can only assume he's gonna crush someone, and then you're gonna see freaking Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks come out and talk some more smack, and it'll all be good. You don't think he's going to be taking on somebody like a John Moxley or a
perhaps maybe he'll get someone big time like a Cesar Bononi.
Yes.
The pride and joy of Italy.
Oh, Hook versus QT Marshall. I actually missed that. And
I'm going to go with Hook.
Oh no, this is announced for the buy-in of Revolution. So Hook versus
I'm still going to go with Hook.
Yeah. And Chris Statlander versus
it could be Saturday in the park, and I'm going with Hook.
Chris Statlander versus that dirty heel orphan players. I like that Statlander.
I'm going to go with the baby face on this one. I'm going to go with Layla Hirsch.
Oh, you think so? You think she's a baby? I like that Statlander was like, I said what I said.
You heard me.
Anyway, Malachi Black did a promo. Brody King comes out. Buddy Matthews comes out. Not much to say here. Excited about the group, but this was
promo's a promo.
Yep.
Unless you're cutting an MJF or CM Punk promo's a promo.
And then we had the altercation in the back where Shawn Spears and Wardlow get into it, and MJF comes out and says, "I decided that I'm going to let you keep the TNT title if you win." And then as he's walking away, he goes, "We know you're not going to win anyway." And that's then Wardlow says, "That's because I'm always covering your butt." And soon as that happens, MJF turns around, slaps the shit out of him, and lets him know that you're a bodyguard and you don't have a wrestler contract.
Yeah.
I believe Tony Khan.
Yeah, I feed
hire this guy.
Tony Khan's letting this random bodyguard go for the TNT title. That's fantastic.
That's amazing. I can't believe it.
Yeah. How nice is Tony Khan?
I literally can't believe it. Then we had our main event. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish versus Hangman, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. Nice 6-man match for what it was. Adam Cole gets the win. I believe he pinned Alex Reynolds, though.
He pinned Alex Reynolds. Then they duct taped Page to the ropes and beat up everybody in front of him.
It's funny. You almost messed up on that name there. I was just listening to Jim Ross say on Grill JR that back in the day, promoters would try not to book two stars with the same names against each other. First name.
You mean all?
Before you say that, my first thought was Flair Steamboat, Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. But I'm just.
I was thinking more of the fact that Steve Austin had to change his name, which is really Steve Williams,
right?
Because there was already a Dr. Death Steve Williams,
right? Yeah,
so he literally had to change his last name, which is really Williams,
right? He couldn't go by his real name, so yeah. I mean,
or how about Lord William Regal having to become not being able to be Steven Regal because you had a certain Steve Austin, so he had to become William Regal.
Right. Yeah, it is what it is, man. So before we get to the top 5 of the week, one other question here. Do you think what do you think about the idea that one of our friends pitched to us, Scott from Voluntown, about William Regal coming in to potentially run Ring of Honor?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, William Regal loves young talent, loves working with young talent. He's a great mind for the business. We saw him scouting even when we were at Bloodsport in New York. Yeah. He was up in the balcony with John Moxley, and they were actually spotting Bloodsport before John Moxley was even on the card. That was kind of a cool thing. You can't have someone better than Steven Regal to actually teach you young talent. That's for damn sure.
Let's fly through this top 5 of the week, and then let's make some Revolution predictions.
Oh, some promotion, sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Some predictions here. I think this will be good. All right, so let's see. You can tell me what we agree on. The two non-AEW things I have here, but I think one we'll agree on. Vince McMahon doing an interview with Pat McAfee. I think just Vince doing one of these interviews makes.
I think seeing the real Vince McMahon is always going to make a top 5.
Yeah, that's a top 5.
The guy's more of a character than his actual character.
Khan buys Ring of Honor. That's got to be there. MJF and Punk. I think we'll agree on that. And then are we going to agree on this one? Bryan Danielson and Christopher Daniels.
Oh, absolutely. I love Christopher Daniels for a long time. One of my favorite of all time. To get him to see him work with Bryan Danielson one more time was absolutely amazing. Although he needs to do something for that eye.
And then my final one, which maybe we'll differ a little bit here. I went with Harry Smith in the NWA for the Crockett Cup. I thought that was pretty cool to see. Harry Smith.
See, now, if it was the match this week, I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
But it was just an announcement.
Okay.
So, therefore, I gave it to Pete Dunne and Carmelo Hayes for my number 5.
Not bad. Actually, if I was thinking about match, then I probably would have gone with Braun Breaker and Ciampa.
That was a fun match, but to me, with the North American title on the line and with Pete Dunne in the main event, I was very happy with that.
All right. Let's make some predictions here. We already did our buy-in predictions. Jay Cargill, Ty Conti. I'm going with Cargo.
I am going with Cargill.
All right. Cargo. Then we got the AHFO, Andrade, Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy versus Sammy, Sting, and Darby. I do think Andrade is going to win the title tonight.
Yeah, I think Sammy, Sting, and Darby are going over because if Andrade wins the belt, it doesn't make sense to have him go over on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I just you're not going to have Sting and Darby and Sammy job out this match. No. Just don't. No, send them home. Send them happy.
I'm looking forward to the Sting plancha.
Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon and the Bucks.
Anyone but Jurassic Express.
I think they're going to win now. I think Jurassic Express is going to win because I think the other teams are going to end up fighting each other, and that's what's going to lead to Jurassic Express holding on to the belts.
Bitch.
What do you say?
I'm going with Red Dragon.
All right. I think you're going with your heart, but I hope you're
right. I am. I'm completely going with my heart. I cannot go for a man dressed in a dinosaur outfit.
This is one that's going to be tough for me. Moxley, Danielson. I'm leaning towards Danielson right now.
I think Moxley goes over, but I think they end up joining.
See, I was thinking.
To me, if Danielson goes over, I don't see how Moxley can join him as a face.
Good point. Okay, I convinced you of the result tonight. You turned me on that one. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Who's going to win the Face of the Revolution ladder match? I think we're going to agree on this one too. I'm going Wardlow.
I think Wardlow wins it too.
Yeah.
I look for a big showing from Keith Lee. I think that they're going to definitely have a big showing from him. You're going to see a lot from Powerhouse Hobbs. Ricky Starks will shine as always. But I got to go with Wardlow.
I agree. Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. I'm going to go with Rosa just to be different.
I'm going with Britt Baker.
Sounds good to me.
I wish I could say Rosa. I do. That's one where I want to go with my heart too. But I just see Britt Baker winning this one.
Here's a tough one. MJF Punk. I feel like MJF's going to be the guy that gets a title shot, but I feel like we've put so much heat on him. Punk's going to win this.
I think Punk wins too.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I think that Wardlow costs Punk.
I think something.
Wardlow costs MJF.
I think you're right, and I think MJF will still end up getting a title shot somehow down the road. But yeah, I don't think this is his night. Adam Page versus Adam Cole. I know we're going to agree on this one. Hangman Page all day long.
Yeah. If I thought that Punk was losing, I would go with Adam Cole because I think Adam Cole versus Punk would be a hell of a main event.
Yeah.
But I think MJF is going to somehow. I think MJF is going to somehow get the title shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the belt stays on Page.
I agree. All right. So we really only disagreed on one match and then one.
Two.
Well, one of them's tonight, right?
No, the Jurassic Express you picked. I picked Red Dragon.
Yeah.
You picked Thunder Rosa, and I picked Britt Baker.
I didn't acknowledge you really did that. All right. I know in your heart. I know in your head what you really think. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do today for the Working Fans podcast.
You know what? We do the work so you don't have to.
And we're out.